Hey folks, today I want to talk some about how to improve business processes, and I'm going to talk through the mental model that I use anytime I'm trying to improve a process. Improving business processes and systems is how you get more efficient, and that efficiency is going to help you save time, save money, get more out of the existing things that you have, and ultimately be able to scale and grow your business in the way that you want to. Let's go ahead and get into it. So this mental model is going to apply to any system or any process in any business. It doesn't matter what that process is doing. It doesn't matter what your business does. This is one of the great things about systems thinking. When you use systems thinking, systems have the same attributes, and that means you can apply the same tools to fix them regardless of what they're actually doing. So this mental model, there's 3 words to remember what it is. And they're so important that I actually wrote a chapter in my book just about this mental model and these 3 words. Those words are eliminate, consolidate, and automate. This is how you should be thinking about improving the processes that you have in your business and keep them in that order. Eliminate first, consolidate second, automate third. Let's go ahead and talk through these one at a time. So the first item here, eliminate. It's exactly what it sounds like. It's about going through your process and looking for things that shouldn't be there. A lot of times this is in the form of waste, things that you're doing that you don't actually need to do, that aren't providing value to your business, that aren't helping you make money, that are costing you more money than it should. And waste can come in a lot of different forms in your business. It can come in the form of wasted time. It can come in the form of wasted money. It can come in the form of wasted resources, just using more than you should in order to get the things done that you need to get done. A lot of waste is created when you change things in your business. This is one of the number one areas to look for where you might have waste. So if you have recently changed anything in your business, a process, employee, doing something a different way, a lot of times when we make those changes, what happens is some of the existing process steps or artifacts that we're using in the business, those things become obsolete because of the change that we've made. But we don't always take the time to identify all of those wastes and actually clean them up. You need to be thinking not just the immediate consequences of a change, but think through what are the second and third level consequences of a change that I'm making in my business. And that's going to help you identify where you might have waste in your existing processes and systems. So let me go through a real life example here. I was working with a business and just going through general process improvement. And one of the things that came up was a collection of reports around accounting that, as I started asking questions about it, it was one, taking a fair amount of time each week. They had one person that was every week spending 4 or 5 hours just creating these reports. But then 2, there seemed to be a lot of confusion about what the report was really for. And so I started asking the questions, hey, these reports that are created on the accounting side, what are they used for? And I was told, oh, the owner has us create those. They use it for something. So I went and I talked to the owner about these reports and said, hey, what are these reports being used for? How are you actually using those in your business? And what she told me was, oh, I don't use those reports anymore. I used to use them, but then we hired this manager and the manager uses those reports. So then I went and I talked to that manager and said, hey, I understand you're using these reports. Can you tell me what you're using them for and how they work? And he told me, well, the owner used them, but when I came in, we made a couple of adjustments and now we have this software that does a bunch of things and those reports are obsolete. Like we don't need them anymore just because of the way they had changed their accounting. So you see, they made this change. They brought somebody in was the first change, and then that person then made additional changes to what it is that they were doing in the business. And because of that sequence of changes, now these reports that were still being generated were no longer needed, but nobody took the time to identify that and go back and adjust or eliminate making those reports. So at the end of the day, we were able to stop that person from spending 4 or 5 hours a week generating these reports that nobody was actually using anymore. The next thing we'll talk through is consolidate. Consolidating is exactly what it sounds like. You have things in your business, all kinds of things that come from different sources, the same thing coming from different sources. And that is always an opportunity for you to consolidate. What do I mean by things? You think about leads. A lot of businesses have multiple ways that they get leads. Sales don't always come from one channel. You might have 3, 4, 5, 6, even more channels that create sales for you that are all coming into your business. Expenses, you've got expenses from different sources. You might have software expenses that you're paying to software vendors. You might be using Fiverr for contractors and you've got expenses there. You might have employees that generate expenses. You've got payroll. All of these different expenses, they're very like things, but they're coming from different sources. Okay. Another example, product ideas. You have product ideas that you have in your head as a business owner. You have product ideas that are coming from your employees. You have ideas that are coming from your customers. All of these different product ideas, it's the same thing, but it's coming from different sources. And consolidating is about identifying first the thing. What is this thing that we have in our business that we want to try and consolidate? And then what are the different sources that create this thing? And then it's a matter of bringing those together in a way that you can manage that thing for most of its life cycle in one way. Okay. So let's get specific with an example to help you understand that. Let's talk through expenses. So let's just say you've got expenses. You've got a couple of employees. So you've got some payroll expenses. You've got software expenses where you're paying software vendors for software that you use in your business. You've got materials expenses because you create a physical product. And we'll say you have contractor expenses because you outsource just through contracting some of the work that you're doing. So you have these 4 different expense types. They're all expenses and they all have similar characteristics, but they all come in different ways, right? So you've got a payroll expense that comes out of your payroll software or your payroll service that maybe generates an email that's got some summary information. You're going to get emails from the different software vendors that you use. All of those emails are going to maybe look a little bit different. They're all expenses, but one vendor is going to have a bunch of detail about the bill. The other vendor might have no information about the bill and it's just a summary amount. So they're all coming in different flavors. Now, when you keep them all separate the way they are, what happens is you have individual separate processes to manage each one of these different flavors of the invoice. And where consolidating comes into play is if you can consolidate those down and make them look the same for what you need to manage your business. Now, after you've consolidated at the very front, you can manage all of those things the same way. You don't have to do different things to different invoices based on the source of where they came from. And that consolidation is about normalization. Okay. Normalizing information is to say, hey, I've got information about expenses that comes from different sources. It all looks a little bit different, but I'm going to put this system in place to consolidate all of that and to normalize that information so that it all looks the same. Then I can just have one process to manage any and all of my expenses. It doesn't matter where they come from. It doesn't matter what they look like. Ultimately, I'm going to be able to normalize them and have just one process to manage those expenses instead of different processes for each of the different types of expenses that you have. Last, let's talk through automate. Automate is really about technology. It's about introducing technology into your business to remove manual processes and to make things happen in a way where nobody has to touch anything, nobody has to do anything. You've got technology doing the work for you. And it's really important that you make this last. I can't tell you how many times I go and talk to somebody, and this happened all throughout my corporate career as well, where they just want to start with the technology. Hey, let's go buy some software, and that's going to solve all our problems. And I will tell you, software will not solve any of your problems other than automation. It will make manual processes into automated processes. But the problem is, if you have a really bad process and you automate it, you still have a really bad process. Okay? Automation, technology, it's not going to make your processes better. It's going to automate them. And sure, you can do different things with software, just installing it, setting it up, configuring it, that you can't do without it. But you have to do the process work first. If you want to be really efficient, you have to do the process work first. Because what will happen when you start with technology is expensive and it's time consuming to implement. And if you automate first, and then you go and try and make your business more efficient in other ways, and you try and eliminate or consolidate, now the technology that you've built, it's no good anymore. It's got problems because you've changed the underlying business processes that the technology is supporting. So now you have to go change your technology again, which means you're going to have to spend more time. You're going to have to spend more money hiring consultants or whoever to come and actually do the tech work for you. Or if you've got tech staff that you employ, you're going to have them spend their time. And it's just completely wasted. So automate last. The other important piece to that is, especially with a new system or process, you're going to be doing a lot of rapid learning about what's right and what's wrong in that process or system. And when you start manually, it's very easy to make adjustments to a manual process. If I'm doing A manually and I want to do B instead, I just stop doing A and start doing B. It doesn't cost me any money. I don't have to configure anything or change anything. I just say, stop doing A, start doing B. So when you're getting your process right and really trying to fine tune it, manual is better first because it's going to allow you to make those adjustments and really get your process optimized before you incur any costs related to technology. So that's it for today. This mental model, again, will help you to improve your business processes and systems. Anytime you're looking at how you can make things better, think about eliminating things that aren't adding value or aren't helping you get to your desired outcomes. Think about consolidating like items in a process or system and process them the same way after you've normalized them. And then third, automate and remove manual work so that the technology can do the work for you. If you'd like to improve your ability to improve processes in your business, my book is a great place to start, available on Amazon, either in paperback or Kindle formats, free on Kindle Unlimited. If you've got that as a service, you're able to read the book at no cost. As I said at the beginning, I have a chapter dedicated to this concept. It fits very well in a broader process improvement program, and it will help you address the right things in the right order to make your processes more efficient, more effective, and more productive. If you want to talk about how I can help you do these things in your business, go ahead and reach out to me, Brian, at optimizeforoutcomes.com. Or if you have any questions on what I covered today, feel free to email me there as well, or message me on your preferred social media channel. Thanks, and I will see you online.